Good morning, I'm Blake, and this morning we're having coffee with our newly elected mayor,
Dr. Larry Wallace Jr.
We want to thank you for coming on with us this morning. I know you've got lots of plans in mind for the town and what you want to do for Manor and all, but let's first look at who Larry is. We want to know the nitty gritty.
Right.
I think you were telling me that you were born here in Texas, right?
Yes, born in Texas. I was born in Corpus Christi. I actually grew up in Dallas-Fort Worth area and went into the military from there. And once I retired out of the Army, came here to the City of Manor. So that's it in a short summary.
So, growing up in Dallas-Fort Worth, did you go right to college right after school? Were you one of those really bookie people who went right off to college?
So after high school, I was not that great of a student. So I got accepted to University of North Texas, and I made a decision not to go there because I did not think I had the aptitude for it. Ended up going to North Lake Junior College out in Irving, Texas. I was playing basketball there, and I was working at Papados off of I-30 at the same time. And it was the Final Four. I remember this very clearly. It was the Final Four they were playing, and I was watching it. I was a hostess over there at Papados, and I basically said, "They all can jump. They all can shoot. If I was really gonna make it, would I be here right now, right?" And so, like a smart young whippersnapper, I went back and I dropped out of college. Right. And because I was like, I'm here for basketball, and I tried to pay attention in classes. I just didn't. It just wasn't there because I never really took it that seriously in high school growing up, and so I dropped out. And I probably want to say maybe after a couple of weeks, my dad came in. He's like, "You dropped out of college, didn't you?" Like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "All right. Well, you're either gonna go to work or you're gonna go into the military." And I was like, "Fine. Well, I'm going into the military then." So I signed up, tried to get into the Air Force, tried to be a pararescue ranger. Man, I was going to the YMCA, working out all the time in the pool, swimming, because I was like, I want to be the best of the best, the elite, and had horrible eyesight. And so basically, I did not hear back from the Air Force. I didn't hear back from them. And so that's how I ended up going into the Army. I signed up for a 14 Tango, which is a Patriot missile launcher. They sold me on it. Man, you'll be touring, you'll be seeing stuff, seeing sights, you'll be shooting rockets. I'm like, yeah, I've seen the movies, yeah, that's good. I got home and I told my dad. He's like, "So what did they tell you?" I said, "I signed up for a Patriot missile launcher." He's like, "I didn't tell you to sign up for anything. I told you just to go find out what was available." And he was like, "No, we're going back down to the Dallas Maps the next day." Sat down. He's like, "Hey, my son, stupidly signed up. What is available? Like, we have military police, we have human resources, and some other type of job." And ended up signing into human resources because of my father. At that time, he was working down at John Peter Smith Hospital as the vice president of the clinics. He built Diamond, Stop 6, and all those clinics that were down there. So at least he had the foresight to know that going into the military, him being drafted for Vietnam, going into the military was going to have his own lessons and teachings, but picking the right profession after the military, what that could potentially be able to lead to. So I appreciate that he did not let me sign up for a 14 Tango Patriot missile launcher, because most of everything I'm doing now is because of my human resources training.
So you got out of the military 2017, and what made you move to Manor?
So yeah, I retired June 2017, and getting out, had to make that decision. Where are you going to go? I'm married. I had twins, Elijah and Madison. They're 6 now. And where am I going to go? And as you see all the time. You hear even when it comes to transitioning that 90%, 60 to 90% of where you end up in life, as far as a job, as far as income, that type of living, right, is based on connections and who you know. So do I go back home where I've been away for almost 18 years? My dad's been out here. My father, most of you probably may know, Larry Wallace Sr., he works over at Central Health. And to me, it was probably one of the best places to come back to was where at least I could be able to knock on people's doors, get in, let them see who I am, be able to sit down and relay to them the experiences, the training, the different things that I've gone through, and have more people be able to kind of tell me where I probably fit in at, than going into a city where I would know nobody. And then I'd just probably really be another number versus someone that had some contacts and is trying to utilize them to find out where I need to go.
So, you've been here around 2 years or so, a little bit more than 2 years. But you didn't stay inactive very long. You jumped into politics just about as soon as you got settled, didn't you?
Well, I don't want to say I jumped into it, right? It wasn't a thing of like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go into politics. I probably want to say I try to stay away from it as much. When people say, hey, you'd probably be a good lawyer because you like to debate a little bit. I'm like, nah, I don't want to. You might want to go into politics because, you like to see change happen. Like, nah, no. But once I got out, I was so used to, in the military, being able to be successful by understanding the environment that I was in, understanding, the doctrine, the policies, just how everything operates, right? And being able to make your decisions within that confine. And once I got here, the city and how it operates, it's chaotic. And I don't mean in a sense like, it's just in shambles, but it's so chaotic because there's so much that's going on and you don't even know where to go first. So as I was talking to people like our county commissioner Trevelyan, when I was talking to people like Jeffrey Richards, who used to be the special assistant to the Speaker of the House and those type of individuals, and they kind of really relayed to me and said, the best way to understand your new environment, right, was planning and zoning. That's how you're going to know and start learning about your city, where things are at, where it's going, where you can best be able to fit in. Personally, what most people don't know, I'm very intrinsic. I am comfortable going to work, coming home, spending time with the family, watching TV, watching a movie, and not doing anything. But just like in college, when I did that, when I got out of the military, I didn't have a clue what was going on when family would come visit. I didn't know where anything was at because I never got involved. Right. And so for my wife, I'm bringing my wife here, right? Keyword, I'm bringing my wife here and my kids, right? So I have to make sure I understand and I know where I'm bringing them, where I'm taking them, right? When we decided where we were going to live in our house, she wasn't here. I was here for about 3 weeks looking around, looking for houses and stuff. So that put a lot of weight on me to make sure the decisions I was making, the information I was relaying back to her and her co-signing on, what am I doing to make sure I made the right decision for my wife and my kids?
So you ran for town council,
mm-hmm.
and you got elected to town council.
Yes.
How long did you serve on town council before you made the decision to run for mayor?
I probably want to say I was on town council for about maybe eight months. I think I stepped down around the 8-month mark or 10-month mark, right? And it's just the way that our ordinance is set up that anybody that has more than 13 months on their term will have to step down. That's one of the things we're trying to change next year, 2020, with our charter committee, right, is to be able to make some of those modifications, right? But yeah, it was basically looking at the situation of our city. It was really understanding, and as I talked to most organizations, when I talked to key stakeholders, within the city and outside the city, the term I use is forced growth. And I say it's not a sense of that, we essentially want to grow, need to grow, have to grow.
Right.
It's going to happen. So we're in this forced growth mentality, and because of the forced growth comes a different type of leadership, strategizing, a different type of terminology, vernacular that's going to be required, because we're going to get everything coming to us. It may not be right now, but within the next couple of years, we're going to be having everything come to us. So we need to be able to make sure we have the right things in place when it comes to being able to look at all the options and be able to pick the best one for the most maximized outcome. And so with me having, been blessed with a lot of different experiences in my life, what type of person would I be if I just sat cozy in my 2-year term, continue to do what I did, potentially be cozy to get reelected, then to basically say, if I'm a true leader, and if I want to be able to look at someone else and be able to say, you need to do this, or why are you not doing that, then I need to step down and I need to offer my services. What good is all this knowledge that God has blessed me to learn? What is good is all these credentials, certifications that God has blessed me to be able to receive? What is good with all these networks and connections God has enabled me to be able to have if I don't utilize it, right? Exactly. Then I'm basically being selfish. So that's kind of why I stepped down and why I put my name in to go for mayor.
And I can see what you're saying about forced growth. There's so many small towns, which Manor basically is a small town. But there's so many towns that are searching, trying to pull businesses in, begging for people to come. Whereas Manor has just exploded.
Right.
The past 10 years, it's just nobody 10 years ago would have thought that Manor was going to be what it is today.
Right.
And it does take a lot of planning. And what are some of your things that you want to try and accomplish maybe this first year? Some of the things you want to work towards.
Right. So one of the things I want to kick off at the beginning of the year is a State of the City address. And within that State of the City address, really be able to lay out the intent for the year. This is not a Mayor Wallace initiative or anything like this. This is a way of being able to say the city, council, the departments within the city, the school district. We're all on board with this vision, this goal, right? Yes, I ran on 4 principles, which were, maintaining a family-oriented town, ensuring that we had opportunities, being able to make sure we stayed innovative, and then affordable, right? Basically, your cost of living, just in general, right? Your lifestyle, that it stays affordable while you're living here within the city. Those are the more general broad. Now, how we get there, that's what I want to be able to make sure every council member, right, our city manager, our school district, right, I want to make sure that they all have their piece into this decision-making process, because we all need to be moving forward together, right? So when I get ready to lay out this and read this State of the City address, that's where that's going to be coming from. And one of the biggest things I probably have to say now, if you're saying, Mayor Wallace, what is your number one priority for at least this year? That's going to be proactive communication, right? I understand it. I got it with the roads. I understand it when it comes to the economic development, those big 3 things right there. I forget what the third one was off the top of my head right now. But 9 times out of 10, almost any organization you go into, almost anywhere you're at, communication determines whether or not people understand timelines. Communication enables people to have a better understanding of where certain faults may lie, and helps them to understand what things may already be in the works. And for our roads, there's a lot of things that are already in the works. Talking with TxDOT, talking with Campo. We actually have a meeting set up with Campo, and for some of you all, TxDOT, which manages our highways, gets a lot of its guidance from reports from Campo.
What is Campo? For those
Campo,
who don't know.
So the capital area, metropolitan, and I can't remember what the last three acronyms stand for, right? So you have Cap Metro, Capital Metro, right. Then you have Campo, right? So you have these three different entities, and each one has a specific role and function within our roads, the highways, and how we're developed, right? In addition to certain roads that are owned by the county and certain roads that are owned by us here within the city. And our major road congestion issues are really between TxDOT and Campo. And so what we're doing these first couple of weeks is really getting back and sitting down with them and saying, all right, you've had reports come out within the last couple of months. What do those reports say with regards to our city? All right, now what is the plan? How are we reshifted in your priorities for the whole area? Right? Because we're just one city within a whole big area, and trying to be able to say, based off of your study, based off of your new priorities, based off of money that you already have dedicated to certain areas, now we know how we need to better articulate and better be able to highlight our needs based upon your whole footprint that you have to be able to support. So those are things when I talk about the proactive communication, be able to highlight and say, all right, we know maybe we can't do the tollway for whatever reasons, right? And I'd probably say, this is just me saying it, the reason we probably wouldn't be able to do a tollway, if I'm sitting up being a senator right now within legislation, I would be telling the City of Manor and saying, if I make an exception of policy, or if I make an exception for you all, there's a 3-mile road issue down in Waco. Now I open that up for them. And I open that up for every other city that has road issues. So for us, it's really being able to find out what are some of the other alternatives, the restriping. TxDOT is supposed to kick back up with the restriping of 290 on the 15th. It got held up because of the weather. Clearly, I didn't know this, but they need 60-degree weather and sunny days. We're in rainy days right now. Yeah. So stuff like that. To me, and maybe this is just a little optimism here, I almost believe probably 90% of majority of the issues are lack of not really knowing what's going on. Already, City Hall was already planning to do an economic plan, a 10-year forecast economic plan that's being tasked to our Planning and Zoning Commission. That is already being lumped into and being a part of the comprehensive plan. They've already, for the last year, started forecasting and saving money to be able to do a 2-year comprehensive plan, right? And I know that was one of the big things being talked about during elections, right? So there are things that are in play. It's just not everybody knows what's going on with that in actuality.
Well, and I think that's part of the problem is that the citizens don't always know what's going on, and they don't even, lots of times, know what questions to ask. What do you think y'all can do for more to educate the people in the town more about what is going on and what people will say, oh, well, you short to get an HEB here. Well, it's not just as simple as getting an HEB or enlarging 290. So how can we help educate the people?
So we're looking at a lot of different things right now. Seeing the potential of being able to utilize the school district's bond for the media program over at the Manor Senior High School. Is there a way to potentially do a monthly video there? Once again, it's based upon the resources. Do they have the bandwidth? Do they have the capacity to be able to allocate that time? Right? It's sit downs like this and utilizing the Manor Arts Council, right? And stuff like that. Do people want to do pro bono things? At the City Hall, unfortunately, we don't have our own media department. So we have to rely on others that want to help us get the message out. Not a lot of people come to the planning and zoning meetings or come to the city council meetings. Even me sitting as a Stonewater HOA director, nobody comes to those meetings. But everybody wants to utilize social media to make things happen or to highlight issues and concerns. Unfortunately, by law, those are not the places where decisions can be made. That's not where votes can be done by the people that have been elected into positions, whether it's a director on a HOA or whether it's a commissioner on the P&Z. So we need more people to actually come to those meetings, so we're making informed decisions based on what the population wants and not what we believe. Because we're not going to be able to make it everywhere in the city. And one of the things, talking with Tom Bolt and a couple other people that we're looking at is reigniting a stakeholders committee or a mayor's advisory committee to be able to help with that dialogue and that communication, to be able to bring representatives from the different HOAs, from the other side of Manor that can speak on behalf of the people that don't live in HOAs, to bring in someone from the different organizations within the city, the school district, so then that way, I'm not going to say I can be informed, but we can be informed at the local government level, and then at the same time, everybody else at the table can be informed, not just about what the city is doing from the local government side, but what all the entities are doing. As we grow, it's going to become more crucial that we have dialogue and connection going on. You even see right now with all the different events that go on, I have no clue of all the events that go on that I would want to go out and be able to support. Right. We have proclamations. I did a post on that, of what are all the different events that are going on that may be worthy of a proclamation, just to show that the city is supporting this, right? What are things that people are doing or being recognized that maybe a letter from the mayor's office or maybe some type of representation would make it even more personal felt, right? But a lot of times, even when I was on city council, a lot of times you find out last minute. So by putting these things in place, I'm hoping it becomes more systematic. It becomes more structured. We're able to plan out and be more proactive than reactive. That's really going to probably be the focus for this year, is finding ways we can be proactive versus reactive. Right.
Well, it sounds like Larry, the mayor, has got a lot of plans and a lot of ways he wants to reorganize and organize things. Let's take that mayor hat off for a little bit and let's just talk to Larry again. So let's find out some personal things, like, how do you like your coffee?
My coffee. French vanilla. French vanilla is always the best. Maybe a little more. I'm a sweet tooth, right? My wife calls it diabetic coffee. So if you ever see me, now I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen me at City Hall. I know Alex has, with the breakfast bites. I'm over there, like, man, why is he using so many sugars? I'm like, not hitting yet. Not hitting yet. So a lot of sugar, a lot of cream. I mean, I go to Starbucks. I don't even know the menu there. I just say I want it sweet, and then whatever it is, double or triple that.
Now here's one that would get Larry the mayor in trouble a little bit, but we're not talking about Larry the mayor.
Okay.
We're talking about Larry the person. When you tell your wife, I'm going to take you out to dinner, where are you going in town to eat?
Where am I going in town to eat? Well, first, I will defer to her.
See, there goes that politician again.
No, I would have to say, honestly, when I first was coming to Manor, visiting my dad, we would always go to Good Luck Grill. So that was probably the first place that I was introduced to.
Right.
Good Luck Grill. Like, where are we going to eat? Good Luck Grill. Good Luck Grill. Like, I didn't know anything else other than Good Luck Grill. So we still go there because it's like right next door. Right. Because I live in Stonewater. All we got to do is walk 3 houses down and walk the back way, and it's right there. Right. It's got the playground for the kids. So it's very accommodating to the family. Other than that, I mean, we used to go hit 290 Cafe all the time. Or Cafe 290, right? I call them both because, But the wings. I am a buffalo wings fanatic. So, I also want to go eat the buffalo wings over at the Maxine's Gumbo, I'm a seafood person, so I like the gumbo and stuff there too. So I'd probably say the wings and the fry. Oh man, the ranch, that like creamy ranch. I like that creamy ranch. Yeah. So those are probably my two places.
Okay. What's Larry's superpower?
My superpower, right? Yeah, right now is what Crisis on Infinite Earths with DC Comics. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even watched any of them yet because I'm ready to watch all 6 episodes back to back. I'm a DC and Marvel's person. I'm a superhero fan. But what would be my superhero power? I think probably thinking on the spot. Probably thinking on the spot would probably be my superpower. And why? I hate writing anything down. I do. Because it's like impersonal to me. Right? So if I ever write anything down, no, it is something very serious and very important that I don't want to get it wrong. But no, I don't like writing anything down. To me, you see a lot of people, they're reading it and they stay focused on it. So I'd probably say thinking on the spot would probably be my superpower.
Well, lots of people, the first thing they do when they wake up in the morning, lots of times before they've even turned over good, is they grab that phone up and they're looking at Facebook. What's Larry's go-to places on Facebook in the morning? Where's the places you got to check out first?
I'm glad you didn't ask me what's the first thing I do when I wake up. I'm going to say, I'll push my little baby off. No. The first things I do on Facebook is I actually go and I look at the notification section, right? And I see what all the notifications were. I scroll through it. I actually look at every single one. And then I go into Manor Talks, Manor People, Manor Businesses Women. I even go into Black Austin. I go to Black Pflugerville. And I go in Stonewater because I'm an HOA member on there. But I would also have to say a lot of people also message me and tag me into stuff, right, to make sure I don't miss things. But I'm usually trying to scroll through there and see stuff because I'm trying to make sure I share some things that may be exceptional or needs to be highlighted, right? As I see it as a leader, especially now in this new capacity, that I need to be going through and finding ways, and hopefully over time people will start to understand and realize and say, hey, we probably need to tag the mayor in this so it gets hopefully greater visibility, right? Because once again, it's how do we make sure everybody understands what's going on? How do we make sure that representation is going to be there from our highest level of kind of honorarium in the city, but then at the same time, how can we utilize or leverage that position? I mean, I'm reaching out to news medias, since day one, Spectrum and Fox 7 and KXAN and all of them, and saying, hey, we have things going on in our city that we know amongst ourselves, but for whatever reason, it's not getting outside the Manor bubble, right? So I kind of go on there and I'm just doing a lot of pushing.
Manor is growing. We've got lots of little businesses popping up. What's some of the things that have shown up since you've been here that little businesses that you particularly like or check out?
Definitely the TNT Barbershop. Especially with what happened with them was a horrible situation. But I have to say, with that,
let's say, just for people who don't know, they were broken into like the day they were scheduled.
Right. It was one of their co-owners or establishers that they had some internal frustrations, and he basically took it upon himself to take their stuff without informing them. Right. But with that, I mean, it's things like that I have to say. It really shows not only the family orientedness of this community, but it also shows that business team, that they made a great decision to spend their money to come here. Right. Because it's not all about the city asking for stuff or the school district asking for stuff, but they really got to see how the community is going to be there to support them. And look at them now, they're even doing more to give back to the community, right? So it's amazing. You look at stuff where Lily Mays, You know, Fred Nunn, he does stuff in the community. I think he started up that giving back type of group where he wants to kind of do something once a week, I believe. You know, so he's definitely doing things, giving back. Manor men and women, you know, the stuff that they're doing and have been doing to support the school district, where the school district may have gaps and barriers in being able to take care of kids after school. Right, the stuff that they're doing with the Manor Middle School is exceptional. And then you have Sonia Wallace, who now has the Unity for Christ, you know, and the things that she's doing with those kids is just amazing. A while back, Tom Bolt, our city manager, and Dr. Avery, our superintendent, we talked about, hey, how are we highlighting and documenting all the historical stuff within the city as we look to try to, I don't want to say revitalize, but really make downtown Manor historic, right? As maybe the bond, and they were talking about the new amphitheater for the school district. You know, how can we take these things, the different movies that were done here within Manor, and it's a very selective site that Hollywood and film directors want to be able to use Manor. So how are we taking all these things that are going on? How are we doing with the fine arts program within the school district, right? And the things that are being accomplished there, the awards, the recognitions, and how are we just naturally throughout the city putting these things out there historically, right? So I'd be interested in seeing how we can potentially do that so that we grow while at the same time having things placed strategically to bring back a reflection to where the city came from, so we can continue to grow, but also is really back to the same motto I had, building on our foundation.
Right. Well, and a lot of people don't realize that Manor has been used in so many films. You know, there are like 50 films that have been filmed in the Manor area. You know, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Leo DiCaprio's footprints are down in the cement in front of the Manor Market. Yeah. So the Arts Council is going to be working on doing a film tour, vacation tour this spring, where we actually take people around and highlight these and show some of the films, you know. And I think it's a way to bring more people in to the city. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. You know, Austin has its arts festival. You know, as we start to build better relationships with the news media, finding things that are interesting for there. I mean, these are things that we can also be using as we start moving forward towards potentially an economics perspective and reports and so forth, as we're talking to other businesses, as we're talking about what Manor has to offer. These are going to become things that are going to be very key and crucial. I mean, you look at Austin and, you know, you don't have to say anything other than, well, they got the Army Futures Command. They got the University of Texas system. They have Austin FC. You just start name dropping stuff like that, and automatically you're going to, you know, people want to go there. Now, we started saying, hey, we got, you know, film people coming out here all the time. We get asked for this, we get asked for that. Or if we can do something with the old racetrack or whatever, say, hey, we have places to be able to hold events if you don't want to have the hustle and the bustle and the traffic of Austin, right? We have the ATX Polo that's right across 130. We have the executive airport that's right here, 10, 15 minutes away. I mean, one of the prides of Manor is it is basically 15 to 40 at max from every key city. We almost are 15 to 30 minutes away from every semi-pro and pro sports team. You know, so how do we go to highlight those things, and how do we tie in with the Manor Arts Council, like we said, with Alex Ponce and Jay Jones and everybody else, and say, hey, these things that are going on, how can we utilize you all along with the school district's media program to start capturing these stuff, start making these clips and stuff, and start posting them ourselves. Austin has its own news channel. Right? I'm not going to say we're going to have our own news channel, but, you know, is there a way that we can have some type of streaming or maybe some type of City of Manor YouTube channel and have our own stuff categorized on there? Because, you know, with the way we're booming, with the way our school district is set up, with the career paths, right? With the accomplishments that even you just saw last year, from the fine arts, the cheerleaders, the basketball team, the football team. You all got the best film award. Last month or a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple weeks
right?
ago.
A couple weeks ago. With all these great things that are going on, how are we ourselves documenting this stuff? And then when people are interested, we're basically saying, here you go. We already got some clips. We already have some stuff edited. All you need to do is put some wording around it, and there you go.
Well, I want to thank you for coming today. It sounds like there's a lot for people to be involved in. Let people know, when's the next city council meeting? When are the council meetings so we can go and become involved?
Exactly, yes. Come, be involved. If you come, pick up 2 other people that are walking on the street. Bring them with you. We meet on the first and third Wednesday of every month. Starts at 7 o'clock. If you're interested in the planning and zoning, it meets on the second Wednesday at 6:30. We just started up our Board of Adjustments group. And we're looking to finalize our ethics committee, and we have a charter committee that we need to have filled out as well. But city council, first and third Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Be there. Love to see you. Shake my hand. Shake your hand. Shake everybody's hand.
So I want to thank you for being here with us today. Enjoyed it. And what are we going to say to everybody?
Happy holidays. Take 3.